Hello, please come in. This is my place, workshop. That is not a studio, it's more a workshop where we work with hand. On Broadway, we work with the mind eventually. So here we are in Brooklyn, in an area near the Navy Yard, where there are spaces like this for artisan or artists or that kind of. And this is my workshop where I manipulate material, I make tests, I make models, I experiment with new materials. So here is a place for small sketches, model, three-dimensional models. And there is a history of history of my work. Sketches of chairs, sketches of lamps, vases, jewelry, chairs. Oh, come here. This is a skin of last year that is dedicated to the man. Man is weak today because the value of man decreased. In history, man did fantastic things, but today the energy of the man, the values of man, like rigidity, force, strength, that kind of things, are not valid anymore. So this skin is dedicated to the weakness of the man that he tried to show his force, but is not. So there is a mask of a lion in front of something that traditional, whatever. Then this is very old piece called San Sebastian. San Sebastian in the iconography is someone who died because they killed him with arrows. So it's a cabinet that you can use, open, where you open? Yeah, here you can open, and inside you can use, but outside there are hanger. You can hang your coat, etc. New York is a reality done by fragments. There is not a repetition in New York. Its population is done through minorities. So New York is a very important place for understanding our time. If we travel in something that's related to our time. We don't travel on a horse. We travel on the train, in the airplane. We travel on a taxi. It's the same for art. The idea of a sculpture is related to the past. Sculpture of the future is designed. To make a show in China, for me, is an experience. A new interest the Chinese audience. And my work is a new way to express certain things. So this made the show interesting for them. I was very happy with the interesting minds of the people in Shenzhen. I hope that in Beijing, the public has the same reaction.
Pesce's work is mind-breaking. It's something with interesting appearance. Also inside, it's full of storytelling.
I remember the first time I saw his work, I was amazed by the striking color, by the uncommon materials.
A creative person who uses marble means that is in the past. Me, I use material that are from my time. I came from the time where the objects were just functional. At that time, maybe it was okay, but it was not okay for me, young, that I start to say, me, I don't accept that an object is mute. We need objects that are talking to people. When I was at the school, I had a horrible experience. The problem of the school was that the teacher teach to the students what they learned when they were young. And this is a problem because the young people, instead to learn what is happening today, they learn what was happening 30 or 40 years before. My story is that I always try to do double function something because art is was always done through two functions, one practical and one cultural, let's say. Today we do only art that has the second meaning, the cultural, but practically there is nothing. Or practically there is to make the brain working, but not always. This one is about tolerance, is a value that is appeared. In reality, it's true. Just this morning I saw that a little office of the Republican Party was born by people. That means there is no tolerance. A little stupid also, I believe. But anyway, this is what we did last week. This is the beginning of a series of lamps that I would like to do for the wall and maybe for the ceiling. It's a skin in resin that we work flat, and then when the material is starting to cure, we give a shape. What is important to say today in terms of art is that it's very, very important to think about multidisciplinarity. It's very important because the traditional way to separate the expression like music, poetry, installation, all this architecture, design is totally wrong. We are in a time where communication is very powerful. And because this communication, there are no barriers between expressions. And this is not good. No, not at all. And me, I fight this at the school. In the school, the ideal will be to understand that you express your time with an object. So you can sit on a chair, but the chair can also express a political position. Project of that lady there, that is a project of a lamp, is a woman covering herself, but we don't know if it's someone that imposed the cover or is the woman itself. So that lamp will make you think. Then we cross the border between design and art.
I had an opportunity to choose a very interesting object he did. It was a complicated process because we tried so many techniques. We use real silk velvet to do the cutting and to make all the drape. And we did lots of handwork because I didn't want to lose a hint of how Pesce would like to do everything by hand.
As a fashion designer, I think the message what I get from Mr. Pesce is to think outside the box to keep surprising people. I was inspired by his work, so I decided to make a really big volume piece. And we decided to use acrylic, and we hand painted the color as the lamp we took the inspiration from.
The way to talk to people, you have to use a recognizable form. So my chairs are like people. They have a character, they have a face, they look like insect. So the figure for me is very important. When I draw something like that, then I connect with someone that like that figure. Not everybody like my work, and it's understandable. But there are people who like my work. It's a minority maybe, exactly because my work talks to minorities. In my opinion, the future is done with diversity. If I am equal to him, we have nothing to say. But if he's different, then we communicate. So, me, I am curious to see how people talk, how people dress, because all these things make me a person that is not always the same. I don't repeat my days. If you repeat every day, you live only one day, which is too bad.
È difficile essere architetti, perché per essere architetti bisogna essere inventori di linguaggi, di tecniche, di materiali innovativi. Quindi estremamente. L'architettura è una creatura estremamente debole, nello stesso tempo fortissima, ma avviene in un secolo qualche volta. Quindi io mi spendo in conferenze dicendo che purtroppo molte volte parliamo dell'architettura, parliamo di edilizia, che è ben diverso. Allora, dell'edilizia abbiamo bisogno di case per abitare, edifici per lavorare. L'arte, io quando ero giovane avevo fatto un manifesto dicendo che c'è un terrorismo culturale che ci fa paura. Allora invece la cultura passa attraverso gioia, passa attraverso il piacere, passa attraverso dei veicoli che ci aprono lo stomaco e salgono al nostro cervello per cambiare. La femminilità è la forza che rinnova il mondo e garantisce che il progresso continua. Questa è una cosa che io spero e con grande piacere, da 50 anni dico che veramente l'uomo è un uomo straordinario, che ha fatto delle cose straordinarie, qua ne abbiamo un esempio, però è un po' questa rigidità, ha fatto delle cose straordinarie nel passato, ma che oggi non funziona più.
My work, I add a third element, which is expression. Design becomes expressing a context or a value
or whatever you want to call, and in that moment it becomes art. Because art is done by form, function, and expression.
And
the-
Gaetano,
yes.
talking a little bit more about that time and the radical period where those pieces were actually charged of political values, civil values. It was,
Yes.
of course, very specific historical context. Your pieces express very precise political and social statement. Would you like to mention some of them?
Yes. Look, I don't know if it's here. I know that in this room here there is a chair that I made 53 years ago with a company called B&B. And that is the first object that has a political meaning. And it was a chair remembering that the women suffer in our reality. In different countries, they suffer more, less in others, but in general, they suffer because the men are impeaching the freedom of women. And so, also I have to say that in this moment, what I observe in the reality is that the men are a little bit tired because they did a lot in the past, they did important discovery, they create airplane, they create important chemical discovery, etc., etc. And today they think that there is nothing else they can do. E quindi questa pluridisciplinarità della donna, che ha questa mentalità capace di sposare momenti diversi del giorno, della notte, dei mesi, eccetera, eccetera, fa sì che capisca la natura del nostro tempo, che è una natura liquida, che sale e scende come le onde del mare, con valori che appaiono e scompaiono nello stesso momento e si contraddicono. Questa è la natura femminile che aiuterà il mondo a non aver guerre. Who can do the future, the better future for the world, I believe, are women. And I dedicate a chair to this problem. And if you remember, the chair has a shape of a body of a woman with a ball attached to the body. And that ball is it represented the ball of a prisoner.
Which can be used as an ottoman.
Then is practically is a ottoman where you are very comfortable with your food, but in reality there is a meaning. This is the design of tomorrow. Is finish the decorativism, is finish to make maquillage with our product, is finished with the superficiality. We have to be committed to express with our work something that is helping the world to be better. The world needs to be better. Look what happened in Ukraine, look what happened in China with the COVID. There are horrible things, and we are suffering for that. And so with your creativity, you can make the world much better.
Thank you very much. This is actually a good point. Now we are not following any program, we just talk like that. Yeah. So how do you think that the world of creativity could actually do something practical, do something for social issues?
Depend if you, with your work, you express something who can help people to understand better our historical moment, how we have to live, how we have to respect the diversity of others. I live in a city called New York. New York is done, the population of New York is done by diversity and minorities. In New York, there is no fight between one minority or another because we are used to respect the difference of others. If you are like this, you are able to create a better world. This is my conviction. So each of you, I know that the school where you go, they don't teach design or architecture or art in this way, but you have to be aware that you can make with your work something very useful for a better moment, for a better life also. So, thank you for your visit. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you somewhere soon. Bye-bye.